Ever been in a taxi and thought to yourself, man, it would be cool to be a driver like Dopinder from Deadpool?
Taxiing is not as sexy as it looks.
Well, now you can fulfill that wonder in Taxi Life, a city driving simulator. Hey there, it's Adam from Let's Talk Nerdy, and I've come to love so many different simulator games such as Microsoft Flight Sim, Farming Sim, and American Truck Sim. I've spent countless hours immersing myself in all these worlds, which is why I have been eagerly anticipating the release of Taxi Life. Since its launch, I have already dedicated many hours into the game and experiencing all it has to offer. In this review, we will dive into my overall experience of Taxi Life by providing insights into the gameplay and its mechanics. I will also highlight the good and bad aspects of the game. Ultimately, I will share my final thoughts on Taxi Life, whether or not it's a game you should play. Taxi Life takes place on the streets of Barcelona, and you are a taxi driver to pick up and drop off passengers throughout the city, as if that wasn't obvious in the name of the game. Before you load into the game, you will be prompted to choose your name, company name, logo, and color scheme. After that, you are given the option to complete a quick and simple tutorial, which really can be skipped if you have an understanding of how to drive and the basics of other simulator games. Following the tutorial, you are pretty much good to go to start your journey as a driver in Barcelona. One other thing to note is you have the option to change the difficulty between easy, medium, or hard. Truthfully, I play on hard difficulty because I really didn't notice much of a difference between normal and hard, except for if you hit a pedestrian, it is $200 rather than $100 on the normal difficulty. Additionally, in the settings, you can switch your preferred driving mode. There's arcade all the way to full sim with clutch and gearbox. And yes, you can use a wheel and pedals, controller, or mouse and keyboard, but there's more to talk about with that later. The taxi comes equipped with all of the features you would typically find in a driving simulation game. You have access to things like headlights, turn signals, horns, and much more, all which can be found in almost like an inventory wheel, or you can map the buttons to use these as well. The wheel also contains useful tools, particularly in the emergency section. For instance, if you encounter a severe traffic jam, you can call upon the police to help clear out that congestion. Also, should you find yourself in a rollover situation, you can utilize the service to flip your car for a fee. Like I said, the obvious main objective of the game is to pick up and drop off different passengers throughout the city, but during the drives, there are different interactions that may occur throughout the ride. For example, your passenger may tell you to wipe off the window because there's a bug on it, or if you do the challenge passengers, you need to get them to their destination as fast as possible and putting the rules in the rear view mirror. Get it? Anyways, throughout the drive, your goal is to keep the passenger happy or their patience high by obeying speed limits, not running red lights, or getting into car accidents. Once they run out of patience, the job is over, and the job is automatically over if you hit a pedestrian. Shocker, right? Aside from that, you can explore the city without doing any jobs and just go look around for different sites of interest, which include monuments and graffiti spots that grant you XP as you find them. And XP is important for leveling up your skill tree to unlock things like different cars, parts, cosmetics, and skills found in the skill tree. The skills in the tree can aid in different aspects of taxi life, and those skills are broken down into 5 different categories, and those categories are driving, proficiency, maintenance, low obedience, and company. Leveling up the driving skills offers you skills that increase the amount of XP you earn with completing jobs and other tasks throughout the city. Proficiency skills gives you access to various lengths of rides and different types of passengers. Maintenance makes it easy so your car is easier to maintain at a reduced cost for repairs and things like that. Law obedience has different perks that allow you to avoid certain amount of tickets as you level up. The company skill set helps improve your company costs as you buy more cars and hire drivers. Now, you are more than just a taxi driver, you are also the owner of a taxi service, in which you can buy multiple cars to be stored in the garage, assign different employees that you hire. The employees each have different perks and negative features about them that increase as the character levels up. For example, one driver you hire may make more money as she completes different rides, but she also spends more money on fuel. And once you hire employees, you can assign them to specific cars and districts and shifts. Just note, if you hire them and don't assign them to a car, you are still going to pay them an income. With that, I think it's time we talk about all the bad aspects of the game because there's a lot. I said we come back to talk about the wheels. Well, one of the most frustrating things about Taxi Life right now is the optimization and compatibility overall for various wheels. Not to mention the controller has some pretty bad mechanics as well. I played the game with the Logitech G29 and actually haven't had too many issues as of now, but I've talked to a lot of others that have different wheels and they are just not compatible at this time of filming this review. And a lot of console players complain that using the controller is very rough and does not drive well. And I think as a driving simulation game, this should be one of the best aspects, but it's not, and the devs really need to jump on this quick. Next is the amount of bugs and performance issues in this game is a bit overwhelming. The AI pedestrians and drivers are very lackluster and borderline game breaking. Pedestrians will walk across the street and then do a complete 180 and walk right in front of the car and cause you to hit them, which costs you the ride and 200 euros if you play on hard difficulty. AI drivers cause so many crashes and traffic jams that don't clear out, and I think the fact that the devs put a call police to reset traffic, they knew this was a problem and chose a lame way to fix it in my opinion. Additionally, pickup and drop off is often on the sidewalks and not on the road. And though I've never been to Barcelona, I can't imagine taxis drop off their passengers by pulling onto the sidewalks. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. And if I'm wrong, let me know because I don't see that happening. Another bug that I find funny, but a bug nonetheless, is that you will find cars floating above the city randomly. And that obviously should not be happening as it does take away from the immersion of the game and needs to be fixed. Moving past the bugs, Taxi Life has a big lack of customization in the whole game. There's only a select few character models that you can choose from, and you can't customize them aside from just picking the preset. There's only 6 cars if you don't get the DLC. There's limited interior and exterior customization. And I think a huge aspect of what makes games so much fun with these is having the ability to customize your own logo and liveries of the car itself. And I think they need to put something like that in, hopefully in a future update. Lastly, the concept of interacting with characters that you pick up is actually a fun concept, but the amount of interaction is so low, I almost forget that it's in the game. And I'm sure it would get repetitive quickly if they were more frequent, but I think having them more often would be fun, or having the option in maybe a setting to increase or decrease the amount of interactions you encounter. Now, I know there are a lot of bad aspects of the game, and there's a lot more that I'm missing, but let's move on to the aspects that are good. Starting with the setting of Taxi Life, I think Barcelona is perfect due to the challenge the streets bring. The narrow roads, roundabouts really make for a great experience, and not to mention Barcelona is a beautiful city in its own regard, and the game does a great job of highlighting that through its good-looking graphics, and it's pretty pleasing to look at as you play. Next, Taxi Life at its core does offer a great simulation concept that is in line with many other simulation games that I've played. Zipping around the city in my electric taxi does give me a level of immersion that I find fun and satisfying. Lastly, the simulation aspects are quite fun in terms of having the passengers interact with you, running your own business by hiring, scheduling, or even firing your employees, all while maintaining the care of your vehicles at the same time. And I just find that fun and what I like to do in these types of games. I wish I had a lot more good things to say about Taxi Life, but at the time of my initial review, I do not. And that will bring us to my overall thoughts of the game. Overall, Taxi Life has a great simulation concept, but compared to other simulation games that I've come to enjoy, it feels very unfinished as a game. The bugs and performance issues and many other bad aspects makes it hard to play. I really hope the developers act quick to fix many of the bugs mentioned and add some features to enhance the game to something that I want to spend just as much time as I do other simulation games. With that said, it's time to put Taxi Life, a city driving simulator, through the nerdometer. And it is a game to proceed with caution. Taxi Life is a game with potential but has lots of things that are hard to look past. Now, let me know in the comments below which features you would like to see added into the game. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to tippity tap that like button and subscribe to catch any of our upcoming game reviews or podcast episodes. Peace out, nerds.